Good afternoon. Today is the 4th of April and it's time for yet another not particularly interesting, very vague and probably quite boring vlog. So here we are, I've just filmed the channel update for the month. I'm out on a nice sunny day in the sunny, I know, terrible pun, and we're not going to be talking about this car really. There's not so much to say about this, especially as a very vague vlog about this car is actually going up tonight on the day of recording about an issue we've had with it. I'm not going to talk about the Audi V8. So the Audi V8 that we've got, it's a 1993. It was owned by a gentleman from very early on, not from new, but very early on, who kept it until 2022. And his sister had it on her drive for a few years after he passed away, which is a shame because he loved that car, and she wasn't quite sure what to do with it, which is understandable. That happens a lot of the time when people inherit things, doesn't it? She wasn't quite sure what to do with it, so she sort of sent it for MOTs, it had its service and things, and we heard about it in early 2025 when a mutual friend contacted me and said, would you like to buy this? And I said, well, I don't know about that. I don't really need it. And I pushed this sort of around a couple of people who I knew for the automotive YouTube community. It turned out that Simon from Not So 6 Cars said, yes, I'd be interested in actually, owning that with you for a bit. So we went to see it down in southwest London. Decided we were going to buy it, agreed on a price, and we liberated it from the London ultra low emission zone, which meant I had to pay the Mayor of London, which I wasn't happy about. There we go. I then got it back to Eastleigh, which was okay, and then subsequently drove it up to see Mr. Coleman, the rubbish mechanic, who actually has now done a lot of work to the car, but there is so much work to do. I mean, we didn't pay for a V8 a lot of money for the car. We didn't really pay that much, but we thought it might need a lot of work, and it does. He's just done the cam belts on it, which took him 16 hours. 16 hours, which is insane. I mean, he has done one before, a 3.6, but he says actually that is a different engine in many ways from the 4.2, so it was a little bit of a learning curve still for him, given how experienced he is. Those are quite surprising words. Simon has been scouring the world for parts of the car. It is amazing, like, where we find some of the bits. Like, it's just absolutely incredible how difficult it is to find bits of these cars. Now, they only imported 170 to this country. They never were common. From what I understand from Club Audi UK, they weren't popular. I mean, the car we got, it cost about £50,000 in 1993, which is a heck of a lot of money. It's over £100,000 in today's money. So they weren't cheap, and because they looked very similar to like a 200 or something like that, which has been out of production for a few years by 1993, it was a bit of a difficult sell when you could buy many versions of a 7 Series or an S-Class for less money. So they very rare. Obviously, the chap who originally had our car, he very much enjoyed it, kept it for many, many years. But we just aren't going to be able to do that. We had a limited budget when we bought it to do whatever we could to it to make it a little bit better. We had to get it for an MOT. That will be happening soon. But it's stuff like, finding lights, because the lights were cracked. We had to get those. We've had real difficulty finding out what is actually wrong with some of the gauges, and we actually traced it to the fact that the car had mice in it, and because the car has had sort of wiring damage, we think that's why the heater doesn't work properly. We think that's why the temperature gauge doesn't work properly. We think it's why the fuel gauge doesn't work properly. Cruise control we're actually not going to touch, or the air conditioning, even though they don't work, because we just don't have limited time. We don't have limited patience from Mr. Coleman. and we don't have unlimited funds to go into this. I've heard that actually, if we wanted to fix the wiring entirely, it would be more than we paid for the car. So we're not going to do that. We will be improving the paintwork. We've got a session booked in next month for doing that. Someone's very kindly said we can go down to their place and actually they will give us tips on how to improve the paint and also actually use some products to do that, which is absolutely amazing. I don't know how quite we've managed to do that on our little channels, but we have. We're very blessed because of that. I think it's just because the car's so unbelievably rare that they've let us do that. That'll be coming up next month. And then we'll be, some point, maybe before or after that, start taking it round to some of the people who said they wanted to film the car. I know a couple of channels you would have heard of who want to do it already. There's also some other ones who are interested in it. And, obviously, because this is probably the only chance they'll get to film one of these cars, so the only chance that Simon and I will get to film one of these cars probably, then they are interested in it, but we've got to get to a state where it's okay for them to drive around in, even though a lot of the things they said don't work. It's just going to have to be the way that it is. We haven't got the budget to spend more than double what we originally set aside for the car to do these things. We're not those sorts of people. You've got to be a very, very rich person for Audi V8 ownership, and neither Simon and I particularly are. So we're just going to have to be very, very modest in our expectations as to what we can actually do, which some of you will no doubt be a shame because you want to see it all completely done, but we just don't have the money. We've also got two lady wives who just aren't very keen on the car at all. They just think it's an absolute waste of time, which, yeah, I mean, in some ways we didn't buy it to make money particularly and anything like that, but we thought that it might be some fun, and it has been so far. And obviously when it had the paint done particularly, it will be absolutely brilliant. But at present it's just sitting there, and we kind of like the money that we invested in it to come back to us. And there's only a certain amount of patience Mr. Coleman has to do the repairs for us. There's only a certain amount of kind of time that Simon's got to chase really, really rare parts from all over the world, and there's only a certain amount of money that we've got that before the car bankrupts us. So yeah, it's one of these things. It's a decision that obviously many of you will question about, and think that we should spend loads more money on it, but we just haven't got the money or time to do that. And so what we're going to do is let someone else do that. So we will, once it's actually come back, it's got an MOT, and we've sort of moved it around various channels who are really excited about filming it, which I can understand, then that car will be going up for sale. Right, viewers, we got what we came for. It's a glamorous trip to the supermarket in the middle of this very vague vlog, but presumably that's what they're all about. And the conclusion is that, I don't know, are we starting to regret our purchase, Simon and I? We've got, lady wives who just aren't fussed or a bit hostile about it. We've got Mr. Coleman who's having difficulty kind of just finding time to do the stuff, and it's hard. We've got, Simon trying to find parts all over the world and sort of mostly succeeding, but finding it difficult. And we've got me and Simon wondering about our budget and thinking about how can we keep this intact. And most importantly of all, how are we going to move this lovely car onto its new home? These are all things to consider at the moment. They are interesting questions to which we don't fully have all the answers at the moment. So you'll just have to sort of bear with us and we'll see what happens, I suppose. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below. And we shall see you again soon for some more very vague and not particularly interesting music.